Hey, thanks for joining. I'm Marcel with Little Jack Marketing, home to the local growth lab, where we help you eliminate complexity and get more clients. And let's just jump right in here. Today, we're going to be talking about our mission called the Niche Whisperer. And ultimately, what we want to do is attract your perfect future clients. Because the only thing that might be worse than having no clients is having too many of the wrong clients, right? And a lot of businesses think that they need to be louder than their competition in order to stand out. And the truth is, you just need to whisper the right words, right? We want to attract by knowing what the problems are that people are dealing with today, that your audience is currently dealing with, that they want to either get rid of, or the things that they want right now. And then we want to sell or paint the picture of a better tomorrow, because people ultimately aren't buying your product, they're buying a better version of themselves, right? So at the end of this, once we get through the niche whisperer exercise, you're looking at identifying who that one audience is. You're going to know the 3 to 4 forces that are pulling your audience in different directions, what is influencing their behaviors and actions. And then we're going to have 3 to 4 single statement hot buttons that you can use right away to be able to speak the right words and attract the right audience and ultimately convert more clients. Cool. So, how do you know if you're in the right spot here? Ultimately, the first thing is if we're talking about why most businesses fail, it usually comes down to a communication and a messaging problem. So, number one is that there's noise overload, right? You're shouting at your audience, you're lost in the sea of too much noise, right? They have too many choices, they don't know what is going on. Number two here is your message might be a little too generic. You're blending into the crowd, you're being seen as a commodity. What this often looks like is you end up competing on price. People want to know, hey, why are you more expensive than your competitors? Or I can get it cheaper over there, right? They don't see the value that you bring as to why they should work with you specifically. Then you might also be dealing with a little skepticism, right? There's this barrier to getting through to your audience. They either had a bad experience or they might see your service as being too good to be true. And what this looks like is that there might be two doubts going on. There's either an internal doubt, meaning that they don't think they can uphold their end of the bargain. So let's say they don't think they can commit the time that is needed, or hey, this just sounds like it's too much effort, or I might not actually use this thing. And then the other side of that is the external doubt. And that's where they doubt that you can actually deliver what you're saying, that you won't uphold your end of the bargain, or that even that solution might not be the right fit for their problem. Then you might actually be dealing with some misdirected efforts, right? You have too much to say, you have a shaky foundation. This can be exhausting and it will create inconsistency in your messaging. People won't really know what you stand for because you're trying to spin all these different plates, you're trying to be too many things to too many people. You're also trying to answer every question at one time instead of answering the most important few questions. And then the last piece here is information overload. You are saying too much too soon. And the best example of this is if you catch yourself saying this and this and this, and you're just throwing all these features and benefits, trying to see what sticks, when you're not really focusing on what your audience, what is most important to your audience, and just saying the right words, the select few words that they need to hear to get them to the next step. The other issue with information overload is you might be giving your audience too many options, right? This is very common when you start to oversell. So you got they may understand logically you are the best choice, but you are now putting too much on their mind to think about and to weigh. Right now they have to consider, hey, that piece of information you shared, is that actually important to them? And this results in analysis by paralysis. So what we want to do is instead of making these mistakes or being in this situation, we want to get you over to uh, 5 real simple ways of approaching this. Number one is speak to the secret problems. You want to cut through the noise, whisper the right words, speak to their personal secret problems that actually resonates with them. Number two is you want to use the right words, the words that are going to help you stand out from the crowd. This is the way you're going to differentiate yourself from the competition. It's the way you're going to increase your perceived value by putting in some isolation barriers, ways to show that you are not a commodity and that you are the only one that actually can provide the best solution for their problems or get them to where they actually want to be or elevate their status. Then you want to build trust, and you build trust by becoming a trusted authority and establishing rapport quickly and swiftly through your communication. One of the best ways to do it is to teach. However, teaching doesn't lead to sales, right? You want to show people that you know how to do something without actually taking them through the entire process step by step of what you do and how you do it. Again, it's about identifying the select few things that they want to know and then demonstrating that you know how to do something. And that's a key word here is know how, don't teach. Then we want to talk about what your communication pillars are. We want to keep it simple. We want to create consistency. This way, people will know what you stand for, and it will allow you to say the same thing in 1,000 different ways. This ultimately becomes the backbone to your content, whether it's blog posts, social media, email, or even ads. And this, in practice, is branding. And then lastly here is to create clarity and simplicity in your marketing and your messaging. We want to be clear, have clear and concise messaging. We want to make sure that it's easy to understand and that what you want to avoid is that when you confuse, you lose. So be really clear, say the same thing 1,000 different ways, have pillars that you constantly come back to, and then keep everything else just simple and clear from there. So those are, if any one of those things resonate with you, you are definitely in the right spot. And where we go from here is, what does it look like if we get this right? When we get this right, we get to earn their attention, right? So a lot of people think of, hey, I got their attention. Let me just start selling them right now. And if you look at these rings here, you can think of this as being let me change the color here. This is very little attention, and up here is a lot of attention. And ultimately, what we want to do is increase attention and increase value. So attention and value. So when you get someone's attention, you get your prospect right here in the center. So you are on their radar. The first thing that you want to do, or the first mistake a lot of businesses do, is they go immediately into talking about their process. And as you can see here, this is a very small ring, right? So we don't want to be talking about this soon. We want to bring process down after we've earned more time and attention and increased your perceived value to them. So what do we talk about in between there? So the first thing is, once you have your prospect, we want to talk about their problems. What is it that they're actually dealing with? What this does is this increases their interest. From problems, we want to make it personal. How does this actually impact their life on a daily basis? And what this is doing here is it's increasing what they feel. It's increasing their desire. It's making them actually understand how this problem impacts them personally and how you can help them get over it. And then lastly, now we can talk about process. And once we're talking about process, that includes what is the action we want them to take? Where do they go from here? How did they get started? How do we lower that barrier to entry so that they can actually become a client and move on and move forward? So that's what we're looking for when we are looking at, picking the few words that resonate with your audience, understand their problems, is we want to increase the amount of time and attention we get from them while also increasing your perceived value so you're not seen as a commodity and you can justify and ultimately charge what you are worth and what your time is worth. So how do we do this? What we do is we need to speak their language, right? So in order to speak their language, we got to start with a few concepts here. The first thing to think about is, again, we're going back to what are their problems. So we go from prospect immediately to problems. And the first problem we are dealing with, or the first dimension of problem is the known spoken problems. You want to think of the known spoken problems as, say, the symptoms, the things that they know they are dealing with. It's the issues. If this was medical terms, it's, oh, my arm hurts or my throat is sore, right? It's the symptom to the actual cause here. And from there, we want to then move down to uh, move down to known unspoken. This is how you go from a general problem to now making it personal. this is also the impact it's having on them. So again, in using just your arm hurts, it's hey, my arm hurts and I can't do this, right? Like I'm having trouble lifting this chair or lifting this table or moving this box over here, and just keeping me from really enjoying family time when I need to play with the kids. And if you're thinking about this from your business and what your clients might be dealing with, let's say you were giving a presentation and you went up on stage and let's say we were talking, let's say you're a property manager and you're talking about financials, right? It's like, hey, if you don't have the right financial systems in place, you'll have low collection rates and you might not be able to build enough finances or build enough reserves to fund future capital projects to increase the value of your properties. Well, what this might look like for them is saying, hey, you know what? Our board association is dealing with that problem. And in fact, our collection rates are 25%, right? We have a major problem. And if we don't do this, I'm afraid that our building is going to run into plumbing issues, foundational issues, and that the property value is going to go down. We're going to have trouble buying and selling the properties. We might not even be able to rent out some of the units within the building. Right, so these are things that people might not be willing to stand up for during that presentation, but after you're done giving that presentation, they walk over to you and they share just how impactful this problem actually is to them. Those are the known unspoken problems, and it's the personal impact. From there, we start to transition into how you can actually help your clients. And this is where we're talking about the unknown, unspoken problems. Think of these as the root causes. This can also be the limiting beliefs. It's the things that are holding them back or are actually resulting in those symptoms and making that thing personal there. This could be anything from, hey, your financials, it really comes down to a major communication problem. So maybe, in this case of the property managers, that not being able to collect financials comes down to at its root cause is a communication problem. From there, we get the right systems in place, the right tools in place. We start with communicating to the board and the members and everyone that lives there to start to increase that and ultimately get this 50 this 25% up to 100% and get you guys back on track to being able to increase your property value. So that's what we're looking at here. Is step one is understanding all the known spoken problems, the symptoms they're dealing with. Two, looking at how you can make it personal, what's the personal impact to them. And lastly, three, start talking about what is the root cause, knowing what actually is impacting them and making those symptoms happen, and how do you guys specifically address those root causes with your solution. So how do we do this? The best way to do this is to start with a little exercise we call mapping hot buttons. So when you're mapping hot buttons, the idea of this is it's starting to give you tangible phrases and words and starting to identify those problems that your audience is dealing with in different contexts. Right? So the first one here is we have short term on the left side and long term on the right side. Long term. What we have going up and down here is we have what people want. Oops, sorry, let me take a step back there. So what people want to move towards, what people want to move away from. Over here we have immediate, and then over here we have future. And with future, you also want to think of it as imagined. Things that haven't happened yet, they're in their head. They're thinking about a better or a worse tomorrow. And it's what they are headed towards. And ultimately, if you're looking at it in these dimensions here, everyone is one decision away from getting on the right path. So if this is where they want to be in the future, and this is what they want to avoid, where they start today can either put them on this path of getting everything they wanted, or take them down here to this imagined future of all the fears that they want to avoid. So if you can get them on the right path by working with you, ultimately you can take them to their aspirations, their long-term goals, everything that they want to achieve by addressing what they want today and helping them get rid of the frustrations they're dealing with. So what we're looking at is by making the decision, you can help them in the short term get what they want, stop what is causing problems, get them on this path of what they want in the future, while helping them avoid or make sure that their worst fears don't become reality. And when you're talking short term, it could be anything from 1 day to say 90 days. So this could be how could you help them on their first visit, the first 7 days, first 30 days, 90 days, whatever it may be, but a relatively short term versus something that is 6 months to say 10 years. So again, the property management solution here is, hey, maybe in the first 30 to 90 days, we'll get you on a path to have a financial plan of how to get up to 100% collection rate. And then in the long term, we'll be able to focus on capital improvement projects to increase your property value and make it an alluring community to draw more people in to ultimately make a better place to live. Right, so that's what we're looking at here on the four forces on mapping hot buttons. And the last thing here is we want to do a quick little exercise just to bring this all together here is how do we create these single statements that will have a huge impact. And there's just a little model that we like to use here where we take those items that we put in on the hot button map and we start to put them into this little framework or framework that we have here where you can say something like, hey, currently you have or you feel, or hey, currently your average day is, or currently you see yourself as, right? So you have your have, feel, average day, and status. And what you want or what you need is, we want to, essentially what you want or what you need is what you need now or what you want soon. This could be either things that you can, that you want to move towards or avoid here. So it's what you want and what you need. Then we can move into so that. So we'll start talking about the impact. This is what you're looking at in the future state here. So that this is the impact you want, or this is the benefit. So that this is the fear you want to avoid, or this is the aspiration you want to get to. And then lastly, it's but this obstacle is in the way, this roadblock or this impediment, right? But you guys only have 25% collection rates, so you're afraid you're never going to be able to move forward, or hey, but I'm not sure what the best next step is. We've been burned in the past by other property managers, and I'm afraid to commit to a new solution here because what if it's just more of the same? So just start mapping it through here of currently you have what you want, so that, and then but addressing the obstacles, and each one of these statements can make a huge impact to both attracting the right clients and then also helping you convert more prospects into customers. Here's the deal. This is what we help businesses do. It's not a silver bullet and it's not a magic wand. It's a systematic program to grow your local business by eliminating obstacles that are slowing you down, getting your way, or simply stopping you from consistently getting more clients. And even this week, we had a client come through and went through these exercises, our narrow your niche exercise, our niche whisperer, this one that we talked about today, our program Pathfinder, and our rock solid offer program or mission to help identify what the right words are they should be saying. And initially when he came to us, we all thought that there was a traffic problem. But as we dove into the business and we uncovered more information, we learned that it actually wasn't a traffic problem being the immediate constraint that needed to be solved. It was a conversion problem. And by tweaking the right words, he was able to take the information he learned from our workshop and from this mission, and the next day use it on sales calls to book 3 clients immediately. And that's the type of stuff that we work with on with our businesses is looking at your business on a holistic system so that we can be a strategic partner to you to address both your marketing, your sales, and your operations to help you get more clients consistently over time. And we're on a mission this year. Our mission is to help 20 clients get on this path of growth so that they can double their business in the next 12 months. So if that sounds like you and you are a local service-based business that is doing between $30,000 to $80,000 a month, and you'd like help to immediately free up your time, attract more local traffic, and convert more leads into clients, then we start with a 15-minute clarity call. We'll look at where your business is going, the processes you currently have in place, and we'll review your current visibility online. We'll also review your niche, your offer, and your pricing, and we'll start to uncover what the number one bottleneck might be that is holding you back to getting more clients. If we think we can help, we'll talk next steps. If not, we'll just simply point you in the best next direction. But to book your call, head on over to getfoundgetclients.com and book your 15-minute clarity call. I look forward to talking to you and see you soon.